Empathy is a virtue, but when you're locked in a cage with another human being trained to hurt you, compassion is a liability. It can cost a fighter a world championship. By April 2026, the UFC light heavyweight division had descended into chaos, and the fallout was set to happen right here in Miami. The division's previous champion, Alex Pereira, had just surrendered his title. He voluntarily vacated the 205-pound belt, leaving the throne entirely empty. He left to chase a second crown at heavyweight, far outside a normal arena. Pereira was booked for UFC Freedom 250, an event staged directly on the south lawn of the White House. That Washington spectacle bled directly into the Miami crowd. Sitting cageside, inches from the action, was President Donald Trump, alongside Secretary of State Marco Rubio and UFC CEO Dana White. With the leaders of the free world and the most powerful matchmaker in combat sports watching from the front row, the stage was set for a strange psychological battle that would be decided by a single lapse in judgment. The men fighting for that empty throne were veteran former champion Jiri Prochazka and rising contender Carlos Ulberg. Almost immediately after the opening bell, disaster struck. Ulberg planted his foot to move, and his right knee buckled awkwardly. In a matter of seconds, his mobility was destroyed. To understand why this is catastrophic, look at this biomechanical model of a fighter's base. It operates on a two-point stance. When you remove one support vector, structural integrity collapses. The counter strategy is base destruction, attacking the remaining healthy limb to end the fight. Prochazka knew exactly what to do. He repeatedly kicked Ulberg's uninjured left leg, trying to take away his opponent's final pillar of support. The strategy was working perfectly. The fight was firmly in his grasp, and then Prochazka stopped. He backed off his wounded opponent, introducing a fatal, invisible variable into the match. Why would a ruthless finisher suddenly stop attacking? Prochazka experienced a rare psychological anomaly in the cage. He realized the fight was completely in his hands, and looking at his crippled opponent, he felt an overwhelming sense of pity. We know this because he admitted it right after the match. "I felt sorry for him," Prochazka said. "That fight was won. I had it." But Ulberg was operating on an entirely different wavelength. Driven by pure survival instinct, he knew his knee couldn't endure a long, grueling fight. He had to bait Prochazka into stepping into range for one single decisive exchange. This diagram shows exactly how Ulberg pulled it off. Even with a compromised base, rotational torque can be generated through the core. As Prochazka stepped forward, Ulberg channeled his remaining kinetic energy into a massive left hook. The strike connected perfectly, instantly dropping him. Hobbling on one leg, Carlos Ulberg had just captured the undisputed light heavyweight belt. Mixed martial arts is a brutal, zero-sum environment. Offering grace to a wounded rival isn't an act of sportsmanship, it's the most dangerous mistake you can make. That fleeting moment of hesitation from Prochazka was a massive outlier for the night. The rest of the UFC 327 card was defined by raw octagon violence. Earlier in the evening, 42-year-old featherweight Cub Swanson ended his career by overwhelming Nate Landwehr with a devastating barrage of punches, earning a quick TKO. Then heavyweights Curtis Blades and Josh Hockett battered each other into a bloody slugfest that Hockett ultimately won by unanimous decision. But the real action after that heavyweight war wasn't in the cage, it was happening right at courtside. Sitting on the floor, President Trump asked why fan favorite Derek Lewis wasn't scheduled to fight at the upcoming White House event. This prompted Dana White and broadcaster Joe Rogan to call Lewis during the broadcast. Right then and there, they booked Lewis to fight Hockett. This exchange brought the president's personal matchmaking requests directly into the live television production, bypassing the usual months of closed-door negotiations. When the arena emptied out, Jiri Prochazka was left to process a harsh reality. He didn't lose his world title because of a lack of skill or conditioning. He lost it because his own compassion created a window for his opponent to strike. Conversely, Carlos Ulberg captured the ultimate prize through sheer mental resilience. He overrode a severe physical trauma, relying on a single moment of timing to capture the belt on one good leg. UFC 327 served as a reminder that inside the cage, a fighter's internal state is just as volatile as their physical health. Jiri Prochazka had every mechanical advantage, but a single moment of pity turned a certain victory into a knockout loss. The on-the-fly matchmaking in the front row in Miami served as the final dress rehearsal for the UFC's move to Washington. The stage is now set for UFC Freedom 250. Fights like the newly minted Hockett-Lewis matchup will take place at the literal seat of American political power. To add to the surreal nature of the event, it falls precisely on the sitting president's 80th birthday, ensuring an international spotlight. The Miami show demonstrated how easily the sport can be swayed by the people in the front row. When that front row moves to the White House, the line between athletic competition and political theater will be thinner than ever.